Right now we're taking you across to Mumbai Live, where the Indian captain of the Indian World Cup squad, Virat Kohli, is addressing the media.
Even during the IPL, they were preparing themselves to be in the zone of playing 50 over cricket. And if you saw all the guys bowling, no one looked tired or fatigued after bowling 4 overs. They were very fresh. So the mindset or the ultimate goal at the back of their minds was always to be fit for the 50 over format and not necessarily let the fitness come down. And that was communicated before the IPL started.
We have a few players will be playing in the first World Cup. Somebody like Kuldeep Yadav, Kedar and Vijay Shankar, who have had not so great IPL. Their mind space, how will be in their mind space? And have you had a word with Kuldeep, especially after he was hit and he was in tears in the last IPL he played and he was dropped after 9 matches?
In hindsight, if you look at it, someone like Kuldeep who's had so much success, it's important to see a period where things don't go your way also, and we are glad that it happened during the IPL rather than happening during the World Cup. So he has time to reflect, time to correct things and come into the World Cup even stronger. We know the kind of skill set he possesses along with Chahal, and they are really two pillars of our bowling lineup, if you want to say that. So look, Kedar also, we understand the kind of pitches they got playing at home. So we were not too worried about looking at Kedar. He was looking in a good space. Yes, he couldn't get runs. T20 is such a format when you don't get a few, you can go on like that for a few games. So we're not worried about anyone's headspace. Everyone was very confident. They were enjoying their cricket. And that's about the only thing you require from them. And playing their first World Cup, look, a team that does well in the World Cup is the one that can handle pressure well, as I said. And secondly, try and be as normal as possible. Looking at the magnitude of those games, the team that stays more focused and more balanced is the team that goes a long way in the tournament. So our focus will be that.
Looking at the scores, the present England versus Pakistan game, we expect high-scoring games.
Yes, as I said, ICC tournaments, the pitches are going to be very good, and it's summer in the UK, so the conditions are going to be nice as well. So yeah, we expect high-scoring games, but look, a bilateral series compared to a World Cup is very different. So you might see a lot of, I wouldn't say low-scoring games, but 260, 270 kind of games, teams getting those totals and defending it successfully because of the pressure factor. So we expect all kinds of scenarios in the World Cup, but yeah, there will be quite a few high-scoring games looking at the conditions.
Virat, the format is different, more wider, like 9 games you have to play. So what are the areas that you advise your players? What are the strategies that you preparing the tournament? Because the format is wide and more games in the group stage.
Well, I personally, I think it is probably the most challenging World Cup of all the three that I've been a part of because of the format that you just mentioned and looking at the strength of all the sides as well. If you look at Afghanistan from 2015 to now, they are a completely different side, and any team can upset anyone on their day when they have their day going, and that's one thing that we have in mind. So as I said, focus will be to play the best cricket that we can play, and if we live up to our skill sets and our standards that we've set for ourselves, we'll probably be on the right side of the result more often. So that is going to be key. I think every game you have to play to the best of your potential because it's not a group stage anymore. It's just playing everyone once, and I think it's a great thing to have for any team. It's going to be a different challenge and something that every team will have to adapt very quickly to.
Like we will now be taking some questions for the head coach. Yes,
It's been almost 5 years that we have been at the level of the last 5 years. But one thing that's been missing is an absolute competition. In that sense, do you regard this World Cup as a sort of a final frontier? And can you give us the exact update about Kedar's availability?
The Kedar will come with the side. As far as this tournament is concerned, it's an opportunity. If you look at this team, what they've done over those 5 years, they've played brilliant cricket. And like Virat said, it's about striving for that consistency and not playing any differently just because it's a World Cup. World Cup might be a stage, but that stage is to be enjoyed. So, the most important thing is get out there and enjoy the World Cup. And if you play to potential, That cup might be here.
You played in the same format as the 92 World Cup. How challenging is it when you have to play every team and like you're close all the time?
Very challenging. Like Virat mentioned, any team can beat any team on a given day. You know, if you look at 2014 and 2019 now, the gap is much closer now between teams. You know, you see what Afghanistan was in 2014, see what they are now. See what Bangladesh was, what they are now. You know, so it's a strong competition. West Indies, you know, if you look at that side on paper, they're as strong as any. And we saw some of them in the IPL, the way they hit the ball. So it's going to be fantastic. The good thing though is there are those 9 games. You know, rather than just 3 or 4 be on the ball from the outset.
Say, yeah,
Are you okay with this kind of format again on the format that any team, be it India or even a strong team, could win say 8-9 games, and there is a semi-final, who knows, because of rain or of course a team might be knocked out. So a team leading the table, anything can happen. What I'm trying to say is, could the World Cup also bring in something like what IPL has?
I've always said that. You know, that's why the IPL format I think is fantastic. You never know. In future, down the line, they might think of doing it because of exactly what you said. You know, that can happen, but at this moment of time, we'll have to just say bad luck because it's not something you can prepare for. You know, if nature intervenes, then tough luck.
Like India, a team who like to keep figures till the end and move towards the end of it, like the last 10 hours. Considering the scores that we've seen in the recent past in England, do you think like in the middle overs you have to make other strategies to do like
Good question, because I think our mantra will be to be flexible, you know, and be flexible according to the conditions. Because if one country in the world where, you know, the pitches might be flat, but if the overcast conditions change, then you got to be, you know, up with it, because any other country in the world, overhead conditions don't matter that much, but in England they do, and it differs from venue to venue. You know, London, it might not make that much of a difference, but if you go up north and it does get overcast, then you'll see things happening. So you have to be ready for that, prepare for that, and be prepared to be flexible.
conditions, England-Pakistan series recently, seeing high scores being put up regularly. You're talking about your bowlers defending scores put up by a batsman, will Kohli line up have the arsenal?
I would think so, because if you look at, there are no new bowlers there. You know, this is an experienced unit. You know, these guys have been together for the last 4 or 5 years. You know, and they're bowled as a unit together. We've accomplished what we set out to do in Test match cricket when it came to bowling as a unit, and the endeavour will be the same here in this World Cup, where, you know, each one complements each other and keeps the pressure, you know, right through those 50 overs.
Virat, Captain Virat, you had talked about the IPL UAE, the reverses in IPL UAE. You said, Captain, what I learned was actually panicking too much. If a panic at the top, it reflects on the players in the team. So similarly, and you said you had matured during that time. The reverses are the first part of the IPL this season. What have you learned? And as a captain, what have you learned from this IPL? First part, things are not going well.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of. So after losing 6 games, we literally came to a point where we told each other, I mean, this has not happened to anyone before. So I realized that after a certain stage, things just are not in your control. So you have to accept what is and then work things accordingly. You have to just be present in the moment and try and win every moment if possible. The more you expect things to happen, the more frustrated you can get. So that is what I experienced in the first half, and then second half was very different. Also, the players got whatever. I mean, they got together nicely, and the situation was different, backs against the wall. But yeah, that is the most important thing I learned is even if you're in a situation where it's a must-win game, you can't think in your room the day before, what if we don't, or what might happen or what might not. You just have to arrive on that day and try and do your skill to the best of your potential, and that's about the only thing you can do in this sport, because as much as we don't talk about it, there's another opposition playing, and there are 11 other players who are probably, you know, more passionate than you are on that given day. So you have to accept things the way they are, and that is the biggest learning I took from this IPL. Yeah, it's going to be challenging, but look, the good thing is every game has a decent gap between each other. So from that point of view, I don't think that players will be burnt out, even if we have hectic games or intense games immediately. You'll always have time to, you know, group together, regroup, and work on the next one. So the best thing is we have 4 tough games straight up, and that will just set the tone nicely for us. Everyone has to be at, you know, their best game intensity from the first match onwards, and you don't have any room for complacency, and that's why it's the World Cup. That's why it's the most important tournament in the world, and we expect that kind of pressure from the first second of stepping onto the field. We're not even going to let ourselves think, yeah, maybe the first week onwards we'll get into it. No, you have to arrive on the day, match ready, absolutely 100% match intensity, and, you know, start from there and start building from there. And this is the challenge. If you look at all the, you know, top class clubs in the world, I would say with football, they maintain their intensity for 3-4 months in a Premier League or in the La Liga. So why not? If we get on a roll and if we maintain our consistency, then we should be able to do it for the length of the tournament.
कैप्टन, वैसे तो आप हर गेम हर सीरीज देश के लिए खेलते हैं. मोहिंदर रमन्नाथ सर का भी प्रेस मीट था जिसमें उन्होंने एक बात, उन्होंने कहा कि इस बार जो टीम इंडिया है वर्ल्ड कप इस बार देश के सैनिकों के लिए एक सीनियर खिलाड़ी हैं. आप उनकी इस राय को, उनकी इस फील को किस तरीके से?
देखिए, मोटिवेशन आपको बहुत सारे सोर्सेज से मिल सकती है, और जो उन्होंने एक पॉइंट मेंशन किया है वो बहुत ही, मतलब उससे बड़ी मोटिवेशन मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई हो सकती है, क्योंकि आप जब इंडियन आर्मी की बात करते हैं तो जो उनका रोल है देश के लिए, और अगर आप अपना रोल को कंपेयर करें तो उसका कोई कंपैरिजन है नहीं. तो अगर आप उस मोटिवेशन के साथ जाएं कि आप उनके लिए कुछ कर सकें, आई थिंक उससे आपका एक अलग ही जज्बा जो है वो निकल के आता है. तो मैं समझ सकता हूँ कि उन्होंने किस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बोला, बट वो डिपेंड करता है कि इंडिविजुअली भी लोग, कुछ हो सकता है कोई अपनी फैमिली की मोटिवेशन के लिए खेल रहा हो या कुछ भी हो सकता है किसी के लिए, बट आई थिंक उनका ओपिनियन जो है एक बहुत अच्छा ओपिनियन है, और अगर सब लोग उस चीज़ को दिमाग में रखें तो उससे एक और एक्स्ट्रा बूस्ट ज़रूर मिलेगा.
Final question, Hari.
We are playing all day games. So do you think that will also have a factor in our campaign?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't see it affecting the campaign in any way, or it's just what it is. We have to play good cricket. Doesn't matter if you're playing a day night or just day games. Eventually, you have to play good cricket to win, and that's probably the bottom line.
Fine. Nikhil.
Question to coach: how important will be MSD's role? Also behind us comes another senior member of the team guiding Virat. How do you look at his role in this game?
Massive, like it's always been, you know, and you don't need to tell him. You know, he's someone who will be right there, you know, doing exactly what he does. His communication with Virat has been fantastic. You know, as a keeper, he's shown over the years that there's no one better than him in this format of the game. You know, not just when it comes to taking catches, but inflicting those runouts, those stumpings, those little moments in the game that can change the game on its head. You know, there's no one better than him. And then what was great to see the way he was moving in this IPL, especially when he was batting. You know, the footwork, the power with which he was hitting his shots. He will be a big player in this World Cup. ये वर्ल्ड कप में एक टीम का नहीं सोच सकते. अगर खेलना है तो शुरू से, जैसा विराट ने कहा, पहली बॉल से ही वो जो इंटेंसिटी की जरूरत है वो होना चाहिए. चाहे कोई भी टीम के अगेंस्ट आप खेलो, अगर वो इंटेंसिटी रहेगा तो वही सेम इंटेंसिटी रहेगा हर गेम में. तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता है कौन है ऑपोजिशन.
नहीं, मैं यही बोलूँगा कि अभी उन्होंने सवाल पूछा कि आपको ज़्यादा इमोशनल या ज़्यादा जज्बाती नहीं होना है, और आप दूसरा सवाल पूछ रहे हैं कि एक टीम के लिए हम अलग तरीके से प्रिपेयर करें, तो ये काफ़ी, एक ही प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में दो कॉन्ट्रास्टिंग क्वेश्चंस हैं, तो मैं इस जवाब से स्टिक करूँगा कि आपको वर्ल्ड कप अपनी टीम की एबिलिटी के हिसाब से खेलना है। एक अलग टीम के लिए आप प्रिपेयर नहीं कर सकते हैं। बहुत सारी दुनिया में स्ट्रॉन्ग टीम है, लेकिन अगर हम सब टीमों को अलग अलग सोचने लगे कि अब इसके साथ क्या, अब इसके साथ क्या, तो फिर हम अपने कैंपेन पे फोकस नहीं कर पाएंगे। हमारा फोकस सिर्फ अपनी क्रिकेट की क्वालिटी को मेंटेन करना है और अपनी इंटेंसिटी को लेके जाना है हर मैच में, चाहे वो कोई भी ऑपोजिशन हो, उससे हमें फर्क नहीं पड़ता। थैंक यू। थैंक यू।
Well, there you just saw and heard the captain of the Indian World Cup squad, Virat Kohli, and Ravi Shastri as well, the chief coach there, talking about the prospects of Team India as far as the game is concerned at the World Cup in England. The team is set to depart the country the same day that we will get elections results as well, Thursday. And for more on in terms of what were the big takeaways, we have Shama Mishra joining us from Mumbai. Shama, what can you tell us about the kind of things that both Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli had to say about, well, essentially the team's chances really in the World Cup? It was fairly even-handed. They did not, talk big. Neither did they say that, we'll see how things go.
By listening to both of Ravi Shastri's and Virat Kohli's talks we've heard, it is clear that the team is very confident and really prepared for the entire tournament. And what we were thinking earlier are the challenges for the Indian cricket team now pose as the opportunity for these people if we are going according to what Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli they have to say. Also, we also know for the fact that Ravi Shastri he always he talks about all the positive things, and here today also we've heard that in the last 5 years that Indian cricket has been playing good cricket, and for them, like we heard from Ravi Shastri, that they see World Cup as a stage and they have to perform well, and they have the potential to bring the cup to India. Also, the format is challenging because we know till last tournament we've seen the of various teams in A and B, but this time around it is not like that, and it could be a very strong competition. Also, he did say that this is the plus side of having these kind of games. And Virat Kohli, also we've heard, he said about the overcast conditions and the pitch conditions. He did mention that the condition would change from pitch to pitch, and they have to be confident about how they are playing. The bowlers are ready; they are not fatigued after playing IPL. And earlier also we've spoken that the next two practice matches would be a critical one to watch for, and that will definitely decide the performance of all the players and the extras that have gone with them, who will make in the final 11. So yes, we have to see how the practice match goes and who's been picked for the final 11. Swatam?
Right, and he did seem a bit, I wouldn't say he was concerned, but he tried to spin it into a positive as well, that Team India will have to hit the ground running. People have been on a bit of a break after, IPL ended. Some took vacations, and Thursday they'll depart, and they start off against a cracker of a South African side on the 5th of June, and then it's back-to-back matches against, like Virat himself said, tough sides. It's just that there are breaks in the middle, so there won't be any burnout.
Yes, and because of that also, we are also reading, we are also knowing for the fact that Indian team is really going very late to England for the international tournament, World Cup tournament, and this practice matches, and then starting off from with the South Africa, and then going on and on, will definitely, we know for the fact that that will wear out the cricket team. But as Virat Kohli is saying that they are not fatigued and they are ready for that, they are prepared for that. There will be techniques and there would be ways he would be keeping up his players in a proper condition. They would be working out in a proper condition. And according to him and according to Ravi Shastri, the entire format which they will be applying to their team would result in a proper, non-fatigue manner. For like you also mentioned that there are lines of the tournaments coming. Once they start with Russia, there will be once they start with South Africa. So back to back there are matches, and it is crucial to watch how they're going to keep up their the enthusiasm and how well they play for each match. Gautam.
Right, and I really like the way Virat handled that question on Pakistan.
Oh yes, he knew for the fact, even Ravi Shastri was knowing, and they were expecting that a question on Pakistan would be coming up for them. And frankly speaking, it is a very, we can say standard answer for anyone who doesn't want to get into controversies, that yes, each team is a team, and each game would be a game for them, and they don't have to look at any, more challenging or less demeaning, and they would be playing it accordingly. And no game is a lesser of a game, and each game has to be worked out well.
Well, one could have easily said that, look at what's happening right now in England with Pakistan and England playing, and Pakistan being absolutely mauled despite those high scores by a very strong English side. But then that's Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri for you. Just stay with me. Narayan also joining us from the newsroom. Narayan, on the whole, what do you make of the kind of inferences one can draw from what Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli said about how they fancy the chances of the team? Because Ravi Shastri said it very clearly that the cup can be here, and what he really, the caveat to that was if the team plays to its potential.
Definitely the first thing what Ravi Shastri, as you said, that so most important thing is that how you play on your day. He said that every team is favorite in the tournament, like the big tournaments like the World Cup, but on their day how you approach the game, that is more important. Apart from that, our captain Virat Kohli said that handling the pressure in the big ticket events like World Cup is most important and the most important key factor. Every team is more or less same in terms of their professionalism, in terms of their talent, in terms of their players, but how you handle the pressure in the big events like ICC World Cup, that's the most important factor. Even if you are a good team, if you don't have the art of handling the pressure in the big matches, that can lost a match to you. So you have to remain cool and calm in the big matches, and that will be a factor help any team who is playing in this World Cup. Apart from that, he also pointed out about IPL. Virat Kohli said that our bowlers look fresh. Our bowlers look fresh during the IPL, and even they are not even fatigued. No fatigue is with them, and they are playing good.
Certainly. I don't know if there were any questions about, that they'll be coming out of the IPL, which is a 20-over format, and they have to hit the ground running in a 50-over format, if that is an area of concern, apart from, what happened with Kedar, that there was an injury and it seems now that he's fit. But, in terms of playing condition and the grueling course of a World Cup, that situation could change even for Kedar or for others.
Definitely a World Cup is around a 46-day tournament, and in such tournament an injury can happen to any player, and in such case a fitness is a key issue for each and every team. How they maintain their fitness during such a long tournament, that will be a challenge for every team, because if you injured a key player during the tournament, definitely it can hamper the chances of a team. Even the big teams, if they lost their key player with an injury, it will definitely impact their performance, and even they can lost a place for the knockouts stages of the tournament. Therefore, the fitness, if a team is fit,